I am Tobias Elate Fotoh is myself. I am a marketer and a business manager, also an ambassador to the gospel of Jesus Christ, and a writer, now a writer, author of the book, Justice Deprived. Justice Deprived, which won the Special Critics Award, because with the book Justice Deprived, I won the Special Critics Award at the Pegasus International Literary Prize, which took place in Cattolica in Italy this year in April, on the 15th of April. I mean, the award just got to me last evening, and it's here before me, which I would like to present to the public. This is the award that I received from Italy with the book Justice Deprived.
Congratulations to you, Mr. Tobias. Now, can you tell us about the book Justice Deprived?
Yeah, Justice Deprived recalls the story. It's written as a drama fiction. It's a story of a young businessman who engaged himself in some business and was financed by a politician who, at the end, ended up double-crossing him. And in the law courts, he was denied and deprived justice. Yes, of course. Though it is written as a fiction, it's actually a true story of something that happened. So, like, as a victim of circumstance, it's like a cry out to the public of the fact that the person involved was deprived and denied justice. Yeah, the story. The young man, Teku, had the accreditation as the exclusive and sole importer and distributor of some English branded products in his homeland, in his country, which was Cameroon land. Since he didn't have the finances to engage the business, in the course of seeking funding for the business, he comes across Mrs. Neal, the wife of a prominent politician in Cameroon land, who accepts to finance the business. How many acts? Okay, the book comprises about 7 acts. The central theme of the first 2 acts is where the Teku, in the course of sourcing financing for the business, meets his friend, who is called Melo, and with whom they decide to go into a small business venture, which finally gets them to meet Mrs. Neal, who ends up financing the business. With this masterpiece, like the title says, Justice Deprived, you know, from every indication after my analysis of issues in contemporary life, I realized that justice, the justice system, is more like a platform on which everything in society stands. And as such, with a fragile justice system, you realize that things can't really move well in any community, in any nation, or in any group where there's a group of people. But wheresoever you have a good and a solid justice system, you will realize that everything will be going well, because everyone will be afraid of the falling short of the law, of what the law demands. But when the justice system is very fragile, nothing goes. And that is why you see the case of the book, Teku, after being denied and deprived justice, it's all because of the fact that the justice system in Cameroon land, which is being spoken about in the book, the justice system there is very fragile. Because as you might see, in the course of the story, you get it that he was advised, because he went to the courts after falling prey in the hands of Mrs. Neal. He goes to the court and is advised to follow a civil suit, whereas actually the issue at hand has criminal implications. So he ends up going in with a criminal suit, and is frustrated and ruined. And you can't imagine that the justice system in the land, in Cameroon land, they talk to him and they tell him that had he gone in with a civil suit, the matter would have been trashed, because the Mr. and Mrs. Neal would have fallen prey and probably paid for the damages it must have cost to him. But finally, since he went in with a criminal suit, he's being frustrated in the courts. And then it's a question you ask yourself, that are the law courts meant to protect the culprit, the individual who is concerned in the issue, or the man who has the funds to buy his way through the courts? Actually, as a Cameroonian, the title, just though it's written as a fiction, is a true story. And if you get to know that I, who is the author of the book, am a Cameroonian, you would certainly know that it's a Cameroonian story. Because if the justice system in our nation, Cameroon, is put in place, all other issues will be forgotten. We will not be talking about issues like corruption or creating structures that should be fighting those ills in society. Because we will have a justice system that will stand and be able to deliver what is expected of it. It actually took me quite some years, a couple of years, because after I started writing this story about 2008, and finally finished the work at about 2016, and it's just lately that the book finally comes out. So it took me actually about 8 good years to get this work done, because when I first wrote the book, because I was always moving house, I was not steady. I lost the first copies. I had to rewrite it again the second time. And after writing it the second time, I gave it to my daughter, who was then in university, to do the corrections in her computer, since I was very busy at where I was working. And the document was destroyed. It fell into the hands of somebody who destroyed the whole file, the whole thing. And I had to sit back again and write it the third time. And finally, thanks to God, the book is out. The inspiration, first and foremost, was as a victim of circumstance. And from after the books that I've been reading, I mean, when we were in school, like the Shakespeare books, like you see the work being done as a drama piece, I had the inspiration from what Shakespeare has been doing from his works. Merchant of Venice, Othello, and all those his writings, many of them, they inspired me to do the writing. And also, the major inspiration came from the Lord God Almighty himself. Because after being deprived of the justice, everything was like lost. And I said, the only way to get it back is to do it in a book that will be read all over the world, and certainly we'll be able to get something out of it.
Is this your first publication?
It is my first publication, though I have a second book that I'm going to send for publishing soon. I'm done with the writing, they're still typing. A great story is the content of the story. The content of the story makes it great. What you talk about and the message you're trying to send out to the public. Because it is the public that will appreciate what you've done. By yourself, you cannot appreciate what you've done. So when you do a great story, like a great work, it's the public, from the response of the public, that you would know that it's a great work or has been appreciated by society. So it is the content of the story that makes it great. In my own perspective. I would just tell him that it's in 2 minutes, Justice Deprived is a story of a young businessman who gets the accreditation as sole importer and distributor of some British branded products in his homeland, Cameroon. And he had a project of organizing an exposition to relaunch business between his homeland, Cameroon, and the UK. But all those efforts were frustrated by the politician who came in and ruined everything. And in the law courts, he was denied justice. Okay, the 6th chapter talks about where Teko is denied justice in Binlu by the senior state counsel, who refuses to send the case to the court for some political reasons. If you read the story, you will realize that because of the fact that Mr. Neil was a very prominent politician in Cameroon, who was very popular and of the opposition, of course. So when Teko goes up to the courts with his case, which was so incriminating, criminally, after the case file was investigated upon, the senior state counsel said categorically, and he stood on it, that he was not going to send the matter to courts, despite the fact that Teko told him that the issue at hand is more economical. It's a business problem that he has, and not a political problem, even though it concerns a politician. And right there in the law courts, he was ready for any kind of amicable out-of-court settlement. But the senior state counsel just dropped it all off. He said that doesn't interest him. He has no time for that. And he said that was how in Binlu, the matter was frustrated in the courts. And Teko just left without any solution to his problem. My favorite character actually in Justice Deprived is Teko himself, the principal concerned in the book, because he is the center of everything in the story. Teko is the main character. Yes, I encountered lots and lots of challenges. First, financial challenges of getting the work done, and financial challenges, and I was being discouraged by many of my friends when I was told them about the fact that I was going to come out with a book like this. Some of them said that the issue of justice being deprived to somebody is a common story in everyday society. But I said no. Even if it's a common thing, phenomenon in society. There's a need for somebody to rise up and cry out to the public, and cry out to the world out there that this is an issue that needs to be looked into. So all those challenges and the financial issue aspect of it, because it costed me, it took me a lot of money. You know, see, if you see the work, it was published in the UK, and it was quite challenging. I sent the work to many publishing houses without any positive response. But finally, I got a favorable response from Eurobooks that encouraged me. And even though it demanded a lot of financial input, but I had to try in all possible ways to meet up with it in order to get the book out. A copy of the book is costing 10,000 francs. If you look behind the book, you will see there's a price tag on the book. It is written there 13.9 euros or 13.9 pounds sterling. And actually, this is the cost of the amount of money that I spent per copy of the book for the 200 copies that were sent to me. I actually paid this amount of money. And if I had to even put the transportation cost for the books to get to Cameroon, it would be going to about 12,000 francs. But I just decided that put it at a price of 10,000 francs. Yeah, you know, actually, Justice Deprived is a must read for everyone in society. It's focused for everybody because it talks about normal day-to-day situations in life, which even will interest a young man or even an investor who wants to come to invest in Cameroon. Reading Justice Deprived would give you an outlook of how the situation looks like there in Cameroon, or in Cameroon, which is Cameroon, of course. So reading Justice Deprived, and even in the academia. I was to launch this book even in the University of Douala a couple of months ago, though it was frustrated. They were so interested in the book and even wanted to do the film of the story. And I mean that even in the secondary schools, it will be interested to, if the book can get into the curriculum of the secondary schools. And even high schools, why not? And even in the university, just like I said, the head of department in performing and the Department of Performing and Visual Arts at the University of Boyard, one Dr. Taku Victor, he's so interested in the book. And he told me that they will be even interested to do the film. Actually, as of now, I am still striving to get. I am so delighted for the opportunity that I've had to be able to expose this work through my major prime television station. Because I think that through this channel, any library or any bookshop dealer who might be keen will be able to get in touch with me. But certainly, the distribution of the book is more in the hands of Eurobooks because they are the ones involved. But I have a few copies of the book here with me in Cameroon, about 200 copies that are there with me. So if somebody is interested to get a copy, I can give my contact. I can be reached, or even through my major prime television house, because I will be very keen that you're one of the people who've helped expose my work. I can use your I will have the honor, if privileged, to use your major house as a contact place for anyone who might want a copy of the book. Yes, certainly even in soft copy, because this book is in the internet. You can get it through Amazon. Amazon has the book. eBay has the book. Barnes & Noble has the book. Hatchet in the UK has the book, and many online stores, they have the book. You can get it through those channels. And even the physical book, they have the physical and even the e-book. A Cameroonian who wants to get the book online certainly will get it through Amazon or eBay or any of those, all those houses, or even through Eurobooks, because Eurobooks, the publishing house, they are selling the book even online. Eurobook will be the best channel for you to get the book. Yeah, actually, that's what I'm saying, that certainly those in the outskirts who might be keen to partake in the distribution of the book can be able to get to us, either even through, I was talking about my major prime. They can get to me and we can talk. And that way, I'll be able to put them in contact with Eurobooks for them to be able to come into the distribution channel. Okay, my contact address is, I am 678-137724. WhatsApp, every network, that is the only telephone number that I use. And if you want to get to me by email, it's elatetobi@gmail.com. Yes, I've had some reviews already. Eurobooks, I did a review with Eurobooks, And I've done a review with CRTV, Cameroon Radio Television Station, which even went on the air on the 26th of August, 2023, during the English news. Yeah, what will benefit me in this book is, people reading the story. That I think it is the highest benefit. People reading the story and getting to know what is happening. It's not even the financial gains, because financial gains are not looking at Cameroon getting it. That is why I was focused on getting the book done out of Cameroon, in the UK, because I know getting it done there, it will have a wide readership. Getting the book done out there will give it a wide readership, that the world over, the book will be viewed. People will be able to get to it. So my problem in Cameroon is just the interest of people reading, the few people who will read the book in Cameroon. Is that impact that it should have back in my own homeland. That is my interest. I would very much appreciate and thank the management of my major prime for giving me this opportunity to have this press interview done in your TV house. I am so happy and delighted. Thank you so much. Copy of the book to your major house.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Go through Justice Deprived, and I'm sure the feedback will be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.